What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, DJ and Dads. As always, Kyle Wilson is here. I'll bring him up in just a minute. We rotate channels every week. We have a very special guest today. He launched a successful NFT project during a bear market, none other than Jameson. I will go ahead and bring both of them up right now. What's up, guys? How's it going today?
Hey, what's going on, man? Happy to be here. What's going on, Jameson?
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for getting me up nice and bright and early over here on the West Coast.
Heck yeah, man. It's 11 where me and Kyle are at. I do want to say today we're doing a different format. So if you're joining in via Twitter Spaces, we are actually live on YouTube as well. So if you want to jump in on YouTube on the chat, feel free to do that. And then of course, we're on Twitter Spaces, just kind of mixing it up a bit. So wherever you're hearing this from, welcome to the show.
And we're live everywhere, man. We're
yeah. Yeah, we're just kind of trying out this new format. Why not just do both so people get audio and kind of get a visual. But we're going to start off with some basic questions, Jameson. So first off, do you go by JMO or Jameson? What do you prefer?
A lot of people sort of picked up JMO, in the recent months. I switched over to JMO, with this whole 4-letter name meta that kind of popped up. And I was like, I was joining all these Twitter spaces and, Jameson is a pretty long name. And so, I could only fit Jameson and, I was like, let's just shorten it. Like all of my team members call me JMO. It's sort of, the name that just kicked around. A lot of people pronounce it Jamo. It's JMO. I don't really correct people, but I kind of like hearing JMO a little bit more. I tried to put a little strong A character in the name, but Twitter didn't like me. Elon didn't really want to have that.
I like the turtle emoji that represents the project. For those that are tuning in on YouTube, what's up, Batman Who Laughs? I went ahead and represented, the Shellz orbs with my my turtle shirt. Represented JMO's project. Definitely not your project because we'll get into it in a bit. But I know that you value high quality art. But this is the only turtle shirt that I own.
But by the way, you got to let me up on space.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. So people.
I'm not used to this this dual Twitter space and YouTube. So apologies for just getting into that. But yeah, man. The first question we have for you is pretty basic. What got you into NFTs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a part of Clubhouse, kind of back in the days, and when Clubhouse launched, there was a bunch of Bitcoin rooms, and people were talking.
You got to unmute on Twitter so people can hear you down there as well.
Oh shit! Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. All right.
Yeah, we're Gucci now.
So how I got into NFTs is essentially I was on Clubhouse back in the day, and there was all these Bitcoin rooms, and one of my friends, he started a Bitcoin room. And back then the whole meta was basically if you started a Bitcoin room and the topic could be is Bitcoin going to 65K, right? And this would be a very good engaging lead title. Tons of people would join, and you essentially just left your account on for 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, and you basically controlled the room, had it on even while you were sleeping. I had headphones plugged into my iPhone, and the headphones underneath a pillow so that I couldn't hear the people talking in the background. Essentially just farming followers. And around the time when Beeple did his 69 million launch, we started talking about that. And my good friend, rest in peace, Jin Yu, aka Wolf X Lion over there, who he amassed 100,000 followers or something. We actually partnered to do a podcast series, much like this. He was like, this is the future, and here's all the use cases. Here's all of the things that could kind of happen. So I started talking a little bit about NFTs, and then in the summer of that year, my buddy Robert Menendez hit me up, and he was like, yo, I have this. I was a DJ, right? So I was in the music industry for 18 years. That's how I put myself through college. I traveled all over the world, put out some pretty cool tunes. Most notably, I did a remix of Tainted Love by Soft Cell. Still gets a lot of plays to this day. And he's like, hey, we have this app, Milos. They're funded by this guy, Chang. He was one of the lead investors in Binance. They're looking for people to help sort of like bring them artists or whatever. Do you want to help? I go, sure. So fast forward, we ended up my production partner and I, Jack Ford, we ended up producing the Trey Songz drop and the David Bowie drop, which was by Milos in collaboration with Dapper Labs on Binance. It did like the Trey Songz did like 1.4 million. David Bowie did about $500,000, sold out like kind of like instantly. But before that, so I had a friend out in Los Angeles. He was a movie director, writer type guy. And, you know, it was sort of like the summer of like lingering COVID 2022. I'm out in Los Angeles. I go over his house one day. He pitches me this idea. He's got some crazy, amazing house. So he's pitching me on this idea called the Black Turtle, right? And so I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'll produce this movie. Why not? I could raise some money. Let's figure this out. We already got, you know, a 400 million or like a really expensive house, which would cost us like $500,000. So we have that part of this idea covered. I could sell this. So I went home to my house in Connecticut, met up with my friend Tanya at a bar, threw her the idea. She's like, I'll invest 25K. I go, okay, shit, sweet. Let's fucking go. Then I got back home and I'm like, fuck. How am I going to make a movie with 25K? I need to turn this into $500,000. Shit, let me launch an NFT project. Like, and we'll raise the money like that. So the next week I went to yoga with my friend in New York, and I'm walking her home after yoga, and she's like, hey, my sister's an artist and she lives in Russia. You could probably afford her. Why don't I connect you two? So she did, and I hired her. And so that's how I got in touch with Izzy, our first artist, and she started drawing our art, and boom, then we sort of built Shellz Orb.
Heck yeah, man. And for those that are watching during the like on the live, I'll go ahead and pull up the Shellz art that we just mentioned. And Kyle, at any point, if you have questions or want to tune in, you know, feel free to.
So we are also on YouTube right now. So we're not only just not doing a Twitter space, but we're on YouTube as well. Jameson has a killer mustache. So I have a question about that. It's like way better than even Mario's mustache. But what inspired you to grow that mustache? How long have you had it? And also, you know, we obviously know a little bit about your NFT project, and I guess when did you decide to launch it? How long has it been out, rather? And then, first of all, let's hear about the mustache, man. I gotta hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. So check this out. So in 2015, I was planning a trip to Europe, and I had never been to Russia. And so in going to Russia, you know, back then, you know, Russia-America relations were not all that great. I was like, shit, how do I not look like an American when I end up in Russia? So I decided if I had a beard, which we all have beards, beard gang, what's up? Maybe I won't look so American. And so I started growing the beard in 2015. And then when I got back to the States, I moved out to Los Angeles. I started meeting all these dudes that had like super dope beards. Like, you know, there's like a bunch of models and actors and stuff, and they have these like really fierce beard. And my beard started growing really long. And so I had a beard like kind of like down to here. And I was brushing my whiskers out. And one day I go to my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, I need to find some mustache wax. Let's see if I could twirl this shit up and like do something with the mustache. And lo and behold, can't find that shit anywhere. But I was able to score a tub of mustache wax, and then I started waxing this thing up. And all this time, people, you know, beards were super popular in Los Angeles at the time. People were commenting me like, "Oh, nice beard, nice beard." Then I got the mustache to a spot where it kind of curled, you know, in some sort of similar fashion to this. And people stopped mentioning beard. So I could literally walk down Hollywood Boulevard and no joke, 3 to 5 people in the course of 10 minutes would comment on the mustache. And I started thinking like, well, why the fuck do I have this big old fucking bird's nest beard? Like nobody even talks about it anymore. Why don't I could just shave the shit. So I went down to the mustache and, sort of like made that my thing out in Los Angeles. And, right now I'm growing out the beard. I'm not shaving the beard until Shellz hits 1 ETH. I posted that on Twitter, sort of indemnifying myself. But yeah, the mustache just became, a sort of a really nice talking point. I definitely think that it helped people remember me when I was running around to all of the Web3 events in the lead up to launching Shellz. I went to, I started out at Art Basel, and then I went to South by Southwest, VCon, NFT NYC, and slowly but surely people started to remember me and be like, oh, Jameson, like great mustache, blah, blah, blah. And so I was able to kind of infiltrate myself into people's minds and, gain a bunch of friends like that.
I believe you're pull you up on solo view real quick so people can get a good view of that memorable mustache.
That's like a inch and a half diameter on the curl. Yeah. I mean, that thing's killer. And it's like he's got it trained. Like, yeah, that's a beast mode right there.
Sometimes I can make the circles really tight and small. It really depends on the level of wax that's sort of in it. So today is a fresh wax. Typically when I wax it up for the first time, it takes about a day or two for me to be able to make like really strong, tight, small curls. Today is I think I don't leave the house much right now with the mint coming up. So
yeah, we have a view. We must have had a viewer that liked your mustache so much they just put out an offer because I just saw the offers move on Shellz. Let's pull that up. Let's pull that up real quick. Speaking of, so the title of this space and of this video is launching a successful NFT project. Period. But particularly in a bear market. You launched in August of 2022, and the reason I think it's successful is because not only did you sell out, which is big enough, you also have 1,500 in Ethereum volume. So like that's pretty good, man. Can you kind
of? That's only on OpenSea.
That's just OpenSea. That's just OpenSea.
Yeah, I believe we're just over 2,000 now Ethereum volume traded on all of the exchanges.
So, and we were talking about the art earlier, just to kind of show the viewers. This is Shellz orb. I actually bought one, so I guess I'll give a quick background on that. I bought one for a degen play. I'm not gonna lie. Originally, I didn't know anything about. Well, I didn't know anything about your project. I am a collector, but like I was trading a lot at the time, and I bought it just because I heard of. Didn't you guys originally have a link to like Binance or something? And so I bought in because of that, and I was like, oh well, once people hear this news, the price is going to go up. And then I do this a lot. I went and looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this art is really good. And I was like, this like after I noticed, I was like, okay, this doesn't look like a degen play. This actually looks like something I want to keep. Particularly want to keep just because of the art. And so I ended up instead of flipping it, I ended up diamond handing because I really like the art. And then from there, you were doing some private Discord talks where you would talk about being a media company and you would talk about your vision for it. And I was like, okay, I actually want to be a part of this project and kind of like be a part of what they're doing. So I ended up holding my one shell that I bought pre-reveal until now, and I'm still holding. It's not listed or anything like that. But that's how I found Shellz orbs and kind of got into the community. Do you want to kind of tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So, essentially, we are, we're looking to build an entertainment brand. So we have the goal of bringing Web3 to every person on Earth. Our mission statement, I ripped off of Coca-Cola, essentially to put Web3 within a hand's reach of every person on Earth. Learned that one in business school. Shout out to Baruch. Really, really, really good education. And when we were building this project, we went through quite a few iterations of what we wanted to do. In the fall of 2021, Web3 games were all the meta. So, in December, my co-founder Finn, he hit me up. He's like, yo, we're going to do a game. This is going to fucking work. We're going to sell this shit out, blah, blah, blah. Then we got to January. In January, Voyager, who's now the lead artist and creative director on the project, submitted his concept piece art, which is one of the Genesis pieces. It's the super simple red Ronin character. I believe it's called Robin. And we were like, holy shit, this is the meta. Let's build off of this. The original idea was to have a bunch of artists all like creating art in their own art style. And we sort of moved into this style that was one style based off of Voyager's style. Sort of might be getting off topic, but so as we were building that, the art took a really long time to create. So we ended up scaling our art department team to 7 people because Voyager, each piece of art, like each complete layer of art takes 20 hours to draw.
Wow.
So each one of these characters, depending on how many characters are inside of the collection, can have 3 to 7, 8, 9 layers per trait. So there might be 10 heads on a certain character. There might be 10 arms. There might be 5 legs. And that's how we sort of got the rarity and the different combinations. So needless to say, we had a lot of time to build. Like when we got this art in January and we started showing it to people, it wasn't 6 months, or it was about 6 months until we actually launched the project. We kind of started kicking around. We're just like hanging out. And then one day we're like, why would we do some shit that we're not interested in ourselves, right? When you do things that you actually feel strongly about, they're just better, right? And so Finn was into like streetwear. He flipped Nike shoes and drops and Supreme and all that stuff. He had a really good eye for that. So we're like, okay, let's do fashion. You love fashion. I love music. Okay, let's do something. Let's do something with music. And I've also been in the entertainment industry for quite some time. I moved out to Los Angeles when I was just 18 years old, and I've done various stuff from acting in independent movies to even writing my own and directing music videos.
Awesome.
And so I was like, let's build an entertainment company. And so when we saw these characters, I came up with the idea. I was like, we have different artists on the team. Let's let each character each artist build their own character, and let's have a bunch of characters. All of these characters can be used inside of a concept, right? And so the Shellz Org collection is about 28 base characters and currently, I think, 22 one-of-one characters. Our one-of-one characters aren't all turtle characters. They're the characters that could end up being characters in a TV show. And so I was like, let's build it out like that. So, much like Marvel, they build out their characters, they build them up, they create them. They might amplify one character by, introducing it through the Batman series and then spin it off into a new IP concept all of its own. I was like, let's do that with Web3. Let's build something that we could, create a story around and see where it goes.
Heck yeah, man. I love it. Kyle, you have any feedback?
No, I love that. I love that approach. And I feel like just looking at the website and all of the different NFTs and characters, it feels like there's dynamic here, or depth rather, is probably the more proper term. So I love projects that are doing that. I think Doodles is the most recent project to kind of generate that hype. And I feel that they're doing it the right way. And I love to see this. I love to see people really build entertainment, fun out of their NFT characters and lore and things like that. I think this is very unique. I think this was cool. It's like Web3 Ninja Turtles for me, for adults. So it feels freaking sweet because I'm a big like Naruto fan. I grew up, watching that and, all the different anime. So this kind of speaks to me a little bit. I also am old enough. I'm an old millennial. So I'm old enough to have seen and watched the Ninja Turtles, when I was really young too. So I love this, man. I think this is a cool collection. And Yeah, getting to kind of like,
Kyle,
yeah.
One second, just to comment on you brought up the Doodles, and the Doodles, they recently acquired an animation studio. So I got the opportunity to speak with Julian, the Doodles CEO, in length at Art Basel at the Doodle Putt event, and something really cool happened. I was talking to him, and by the way, this guy's brilliant, like super duper sharp. All of the assumptions that I made when we were sort of like creating Shellz Orb. Now, keep in mind, we're nowhere near the level of a brand that Doodles is yet. All of the assumptions that I sort of like had about how to build a brand and how to create an entertainment entity, I literally listened to this guy say verbatim back to me. Like sort of what the Doodles roadmaps is and what their assumptions are about the market and how to build a really big brand inside of Web3. You know, like Doodles, for instance, you know, they're going to do cartoons. They're trying to get their character out to, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of people through Doodles too. And they have this idea where they could build an immersive experience and compete with the likes of, let's say, Chuck E. Cheese, et cetera, creating like a gaming environment, all Doodle themed, like really immersive. And I think that's a very appropriate approach to build a media company out of Web3. You know, we have these Web3 roots, and then we can take that, amplify that through the use of traditional media like comic books, television shows, and like different sorts of animations, etc.
Yeah, that's so sick. It's so cool you can get that insight, especially this early in the industry, and how you're able to connect at Art Basel. So that's an amazing, cool like side piece story for like, obviously like Doodles now. It's so hyped up, and for you just to say that, I think that's really cool. So when you launched in, I think it says August 20 or last year,
August 10th of 2022. Yeah.
What were you feeling during the launch? I mean, walk us through that as a NFT project, one of the founders of a project. How did you feel when you're launching it? And were you kind of scared it wasn't going to sell out? Like, walk us through how that process was for you.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting process, because when we started, NFTs were super hype. The bull market was in like full rage. And as we started building, and our lead time to getting the art done was, it was like just like taking forever. The market was just going to absolute shit, right? It was just going straight down. I think, or pre NFT NYC, we hit like a low of 800 with Ethereum. NFT assets were like absolute like zero. And all of this time, I was able to raise about $150,000 to start the project, and our funds were just dwindling. And I literally went down to under $5,000. I had to borrow money from one of my investors like 2 weeks before the mint, and I was absolutely terrified. Like we were working like crazy trying to get the art together, working with the image generation system. We have 2,500 traits in the collection, so we were naming them all, right, and then putting them together. And it wasn't a simple collection. It wasn't just one pattern, right? It was a bunch of different characters that all had their unique traits that had to be assigned to the character, and then somehow fit together and somehow raritized inside the software. And like literally putting everything on the line, right? I was down to nothing. I had fucking nothing left, zero, right? Maybe a couple bucks inside of my 401k, or something like that, but literally no cash on hand. I paid everybody. I paid all, a lot of our mods sort of like worked for free out of like the love for the project, etc. But at the end, I think I was taking, I had to cut salaries for some of the artists and be like, hey, can I just, pay you in a month after we mint, etc. And I mean, we didn't know if it was going to work, right? Pre-launch, we had a mint price set up, and it seemed like every week we were lowering the mint price, lowering the mint price, lowering the mint price, lowering the mint price. And we had a big team that needed to get paid, out of that mint for, essentially a lot of them working for free, building it all up. So there was a lot of pressure on me, probably the whole team. But luckily, I had really strong people that were a part of this thing, right? And since we built so slow, we built up a community base of people that weren't tagging the Discord when. In contrast, they were like, yo, this art's dope. You deliver it whenever it's ready. Don't rush. All good in the hood. I'm gonna mint this shit. I want mine. So it was a little bit different than probably some other projects that were, blatantly overhyped and really like FOMO induced, etc. It was just, it felt nice. So that piece gave me confidence that it was going to succeed, and, gave me the confidence to sort of basically put it all on the line and, basically, risk having to go take a bartending job and be 100% flat dead broke. And then, we got to mint day, and, there were some hiccups in the mint process. We had a little like whitelisting sort of issue, but everything came together. We sold out in 150 minutes. Once we fixed that whitelisting issue, I think we were doing, 50 transactions a block or something like that of people minting this thing. We got super lucky. Ethereum pumped, I think, 10% on the day, August 10th. And that guy who I mentioned earlier in the show, Jin Yu, aka Wolfx Lion, he passed away 1 year before that. So Rembrandt and Nicole, a couple of my friends and advisors, they literally came on to our kind of minting party show. And I didn't realize it, but Rembrandt brings it up towards the end. He's like, hey, this is, do you know what day this is? I go, I don't know. He's like, this is the day that Jin passed. He's like, congratulations on your sellout. I think, Jin, he would want this for you. And he was up there as an angel, guiding this thing to all of the right circumstances in order for you to build what, you're really supposed to build.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps. That's I mean, that's obviously like a tragedy, but in the silver lining of it, like you just said, that's so cool, to have that success and, really honor that your team member that passed. So that's really cool part of the story. I like that.
Yeah, that's also one, I'm so sorry, but two, that's like a very inspiring story, because you just talked a lot about like the dark side of launching a project that I think people don't consider, how stressful that would be. Like, you owe these people money at the end of the day, and you're taking out loans, you're taking a big risk to make all this work. And like, you're just hoping it sells out. You're hoping that you can raise the funds, like that's terrifying. We did have Willow Kid said, so what's up? He's an artist himself. I know he makes music, and we got Pixel.
What up, Willow Kid?
Said, thanks for sharing the story. Good insight. But yeah, man, that's, like I said, that's just something that a lot of people don't talk about, is like, that sounded terrifying. Like, I felt for you when you're explaining totally. the risk at hand.
Yeah, it's I don't know how many founders have sort of the same experience. This wasn't, we didn't have the luxury of, just sort of like throwing money at something and solving all of our problems, right? But pre-mint, the collab team that we built, shout out to the entire collab team, Buckets, Nikki Sushi, Brian, my co-founder Finn. We did 250 collabs with pre-mint projects, or I'm sorry, with post-mint projects. Pre-mint, 250. Wow. Now check this out. we were nobodies, right? We weren't Bored Apes. We weren't Cool Cats. We weren't Doodles. You know, I didn't have any historical NFT. I had no community to sort of bridge, you know, potential community members from. When NFTs crashed, projects started freaking the fuck out. I was at VCon, my buddy Hunter Orwell, he's like, he gets a call and he was like super sad. And he goes, this is the third project call that I've gotten from a founder this week that said we're shutting it all down. Right? So all of a sudden, projects no longer were sitting on their high horse. Right? They were like, oh shit, you're building? Okay, we'll do a collab. You're still here? Let's do a collab. Let's do a collab. Let's do a collab. So literally like this downfall of ETH and the downfall of the NFT market allowed us, you know, we had great art. Like the art was fucking really good. And we had these like really dope animation videos that we put out pre-mint that were super high quality, done by our artist, Andy, that sort of like gave the lore and the storytelling behind it all. And I really do believe that almost the, you know, like the bear market allowed us to rise to the top, right? Because everybody that was building something that didn't really have substance disappeared, right? They were all like, okay, look, we're gonna wait to mint, we're gonna push mint off 6-8 months, wait out this little bear market, and then we'll launch when the market is better. We didn't have that option. And so we were one of the only projects that, you know, I guess continued to build in that little period. And luckily, you know, we started to kind of catch a little bit of wind, and our sales opened up, and we got going.
Yeah, I actually pinned that for the Twitter Spaces at the top, the last animation you did, but I do want to wait until a little bit later to talk about the upcoming mint. Before we move on from the subject of just launching your own project, what advice would you give to people that like are still wanting to launch? And I don't know, any advice on like the hurdles? We just talked about a lot of the hurdles, or just like general. It sounds like collabs was a big win for you, making this partnerships.
Yeah. The best advice that I have is to build something that you yourself would feel interested in, right? Build something dope, right? And you don't have to have at the beginning all of the pieces of the puzzle filled out. Have some sort of idea though, right? Like, and if you yourself thinks what you're doing is cool, that's going to translate. That's going to translate to the community members that you're going to be able to attract. You know, like in Shellz, one of our mantras is, will you walk with us? We are a community that is built by the people who choose to walk with us, right? And that's how we attract new members, new team members, new artistic people. They sort of just show up. They see what we're doing, and we grow. So I think, you know, a lot of founders could probably take, you know, some piece of that, spin it around, make it their own. But if you like something, build the best, right? One of the things that I think that helped us was our art was like defensible in itself.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
The amount of work that we put in, the amount of time, the amount of creatives that we were able to glue together made it so that it would be very hard for somebody to copy that exact process. And if you could do anything that's like defensible, that's like incredibly unique, that takes time and is hard to replicate, I think that's a really good foundation for a project that could have legs in this market or in any market.
Yeah, that's good. The art is why, you know, like I said, the art is one thing that stood out to me and what made me originally like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this for a bit, and then I kind of dug deeper. What's that, Kyle?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, the art is great. I mean, if you look at the different traits and the different characters, yeah, everybody's wearing like a different you know, outfit. So I love that. And I love the different variety you can actually choose from. Is there any additional maybe alpha? Like, is there anything that you have like behind the scenes you might want to just break here on stream? I'm curious on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going back to the "Will you walk with us" sort of scenario, and this is how we decided we were going to build the team over the long run. Right after Mint, one of our advisors, Robert Menendez, he introduced us to the Neese brothers, Jamie and Jason Neese, and so they're executive producers of the #1 hit Netflix show Umbrella Academy.
Oh, dude,
And
I love Umbrella Academy. I'm a big fan of Umbrella Academy. I binged the end. I got home from. I'm sorry to interrupt this. I got home from work one day. It was like 6 p.m. This is like when season 1 came out, and I I'm kind of I haven't binged in a long time. I got home at 6 p.m. I watched the entire first season. I think I got done at like 4 a.m. I couldn't
hell
stop
yeah.
watching it. Anyways.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing show. So he's like, Jameson, I think you should meet these guys. Take a meeting with them. So on a whim, I flew out to Los Angeles. I took a meeting with them. I went to the Umbrella Academy office. Jamie was there. Jason was like zoomed in or whatever, and we just fucking shot the shit about anime and cartoons and comic books and sort of like how they got started. And they were like, hey, this project's really interesting. We've obviously been following the NFT market. We've seen a lot of NFTs, but this is the most interesting one that we've seen. This is real art. There's something here to stand upon. And by then, obviously, we had sold out. We had built up, X size large community. They're like, and it was almost really easy. They're like, yeah, let's fucking build this. Let's build out a story. Let's take this shit to streamers and let's build something really cool. And so we recently got back a 50-page document from them, which is essentially like the pilot sort of show Bible. And so we're really going hard on building that right now. What we're going to be doing. So we're preparing the pilot to pitch to streamers, etc. And in doing that, we're creating animations of the origin of the beginning show or the beginning episode. So I'm really excited to let everybody know that we're going to be, over the course of the next couple months, releasing little snippets of that pilot animation to sort of let people know over time what the story is going to be. Because, we set up a scenario where we're in a post-apocalyptic environment and something happened, right? And we're going to start learning what that is. And yeah, that's that I would say is super exciting.
This is probably a dumb question, but like, how do the Shellz holders, like, can I like cast my Shellz to be like in an episode in the future? Like, how does that incorporate? Like, our individual Shellz holders, like what they have versus that?
Yeah. So the IP rights that we granted for the collection was we gave a non-exclusive transfer of all copyright or use of all copyright and trademark. So as a Shellz holder, you get to use your character and the Shellz Orb logo, which is different than every other project, right? Like Bored Apes can't use the Bored Ape logo.
Yeah.
That's like a no-go. That's why you have, Bored and Dangerous, Ape Water, etc., like some derivative, and then their ape as an icon. So we give away all of those rights. The collection is kind of built a little bit different in that, each character has a bunch of different characters on, or a bunch of different like kind of like outfits underneath it. And so we're not really 100% set on how, that's going to kind of like leak back into holders of certain characters, etc. But we, as we build out revenue streams for the business, we're going to figure out certain ways to reward holders of certain characters where, their IP is getting used and stuff like that.
Sweet. I do want to give a shout out real quick. One of our friends, Vivibot, was streaming, and he must have bombarded us because we got a lot of lions on the YouTube chat. So shout out to Vault for dropping us.
G money. Oh shit! Raw potato.
Lion gang.
Lion gang.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
So yeah, you're talking about the animation. And actually, I can go ahead and play it for the stream. I did pin it to the Twitter space. You have an upcoming mint, correct? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? We can actually watch the video together. Let me
Yeah,
pull it up
yeah.
real quick.
So, you were right when you found us through Binance. So originally, I went to Converge in Austin, and I met with the Binance team there, and they told me that they were launching a new product. They were going to be launching a decentralized exchange. Currently, they had a centralized exchange where you had to send your NFT into a wallet custodied by them, and then you can trade on there. And I thought that that would be really interesting. So we came up with the idea that Shellz could be the first project to launch on the Binance decentralized exchange.
I remember seeing
And
that. Yeah.
yeah. And so we started putting this deal together. And we got to the final stages 3 days before we were about to mint. We were supposed to mint on the day that this exchange was going to be launched. They pulled the plug. They sent us a message and they were like, hey, we're pushing back the decentralized exchange a month. Sorry. Essentially, like, good luck. And so we couldn't change our mint date. We went through with the pre-sale, and then Binance never, turned that product. They never created it. So it left our collection. We reserved 1,000 pieces for them. And so this left our project kind of in limbo. So later on in the year, I went to Converge, or I'm sorry, Consensus was in Austin. Then I went to Converge in San Francisco, and this was a conference. It's Circle's conference, like USDC. They provided everybody lunch, so you go and you grab like a sandwich and a Coke or whatever it is, and you sit down at these big tables in this big open room. And I sit down at a table with a bunch of people I don't know. One of them happens to be Whitney, who's the vice president of marketing at OpenSea.
Oh,
and I go, oh,
Wow.
shit. We just launched a project. I think, we've done like, 1,200 ETH on your platform.
Hey, wait. What are the odds of that being OpenSea has like, the running joke of 4 employees?
They have a lot of employees. We'll get into like the working relationship with OpenSea in a second. But so with our collection having 2,500 traits, there was a bug inside of, or there was a little bit of a problem with the way OpenSea was architected. When you go into a trait, it was limiting each trait. It was capping the count at 100. So we have 350 heads inside of our collection. Some of them are a lot more rare than others. Users, when browsing OpenSea, couldn't see the rarest traits. They couldn't browse down to see what had one, etc. So they weren't able to find and truly like grasp what our collection was. It's not the simplest collection to sort of like, bring into your understanding. And so I breathed this concern to her, and I'm like, I know we're probably a really small tick in your bucket. You have all these other projects that bring you all this revenue and stuff. We have this problem. Here's the problem. And she responds to me, no, you guys are a big deal to us. We appreciate this. Thank you for the feedback. Let me get back, let me pitch this to the team and see if there's something you can do. A month later, the trait count was uncapped, and now you can see all 350 head traits. And I was like, holy shit, they fucking listen to me. And so I'm in a little Discord group chat with the devs, and they handle like fake collection takedowns and stuff like that. And I asked them, I'm like, I saw that OpenSea was sponsoring the Doodles party. And I go, hey, what would it sort of look like to maybe like try to reach out to you guys to get a partnership with OpenSea? And they're like, here, send an email to this address. And so I never sent that email to that address, but I shot Whitney a text, and I go, hey, can we jump on a Zoom call or something like that and catch up and see if maybe there's like some way that we can partner together? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And we ended up doing that. Like probably the next day, I was introduced to Tristan, the sort of partnership lead at OpenSea, and all of a sudden they were on board to sort of become our partner to mint out the rest of that 1,000 pieces that we sort of left and had in limbo. And that is slowly or very, very quickly approaching next Tuesday, January 31st at 1 p.m. Eastern for the whitelist mint. And then there's a public that will start at 2 p.m.
Yeah, somebody actually brought up a good point. They said, quickly reset the room is Alex Davies. If you get a chance, what's this project you're discussing? Because some people, just jumped in. Kyle, you want to do a quick reset?
Yeah, just to take it back from the top, we're talking about launching a successful NFT project in a bear market with the man Jameson Hill from Shellz Orbs. So, Chris, if you want to pull up that collection,
Yeah, about to.
right? Meow, super cool art, really sick. There's a lot of traits. If you're on Twitter Spaces, Chris pinned up a tweet there about. I believe they have an upcoming drop as well. But look at that. I mean, look at those characters animated. I mean, it looks like a entertainment brand or moving in that direction. And that's personally when projects have a story to tell, I take them serious because that's what I like to see in like longevity wise. And yeah, it's you can build actual brands out of projects like this. So anyways, shout out to you, Jameson. Hopefully that did the reset of the room, some service. Chris, did you want to add anything there?
Yeah, so the I guess the Genesis collection already launched. I actually bought one pre-reveal and I've been holding this entire time. It launched whoops, I clicked the wrong link. It launched what was it, August? I'm trying to get to the right
August
direction.
10th, 2022.
August 10th, it's right here. Is it? Yeah, it's showing. So yeah, it launched in August, and like I said, I bought pre-reveal. I'm still holding, and we were just getting into the other collection. Let's actually get to the video because there's a video for it, like for this. So let's go ahead and play this. And it's pinned at the top if you're in the Twitter Spaces. If you're joining the YouTube live, you can just watch it. Hopefully it's not super loud, but let's watch.
On January 31st, a limited 840 of these highly coveted tokens will be minted on OpenSea. With this drop, your chance of securing a one-of-a-kind NFT is doubled. Which one will be yours? On January
Is that your
31st,
voice, JMO?
limited...
No, that's actually my music production partner, Jack Ford. I live with him when I'm in Tennessee, and we create music and DJ together. So I wasn't in Tennessee when we were doing the audio for this one. So it's actually his voice. He walked into the studio.
Oh, one big thing that we left out. Was it one of your illustrators? Didn't they illustrate for League of Legends and what was the other? Magic the Gathering?
Magic the Gathering. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. So Voyager, the funny story about Voyager, I found him on Behance 3.5 years ago, and I reached out to him to try to get him to design cover art for me. He never responded. And then we were looking for artists for this project, and he took like a month and a half to get back to me, and he finally got back and he submitted a concept piece, and like kind of like the rest is history. Now he works for us full time, and
heck yeah, and you had like
even his girlfriend works for us.
You had like 6 illustrators.
Yeah, so we had 7 people. So
okay.
we have Chris, aka Voyager, Izzy, which was our original artist, Ricky Velez, Danny Pink. We have Monica, which Voyager brought in and trained her to be a colorist. That's Voyager's girlfriend, and then Malu also is a colorist on the project.
Like no one of these look alike, so that's what's insane. Is like they're all super unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's interesting with this mint in particular, so it's a mint into the same collection, right? It's a bunch of it's going to be a bunch of very similar characters, but it's also going to be a bunch of characters and one of ones or one of twos that our artists have been working on for the last 5 months. So when I say double the chance of getting like a one of one, I actually ran the calculations. It might be like more like 4x the chance. I believe there's going to be 10 to 12 one of one characters, and we're also launching, which is I think it's the coolest product that we have inside of the collection, which are our eggs. And so our eggs, now you'll see like the unrevealed collection right now is this like feathery egg. That's just the unrevealed image. But if you went to the collection and you clicked on eggs, you'd see, I believe there's 7 eggs right now.
I'll go
and
to that
each one of these eggs allow you to claim a one of one design
Oh, I think he froze
Oh
up on
no,
us.
we lost him. He got too
Jameson.
excited.
Oh, there you go. There it is. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back.
We are back. We are back. Dude, I love innovation, technical difficulties, just a little piece of this puzzle, the nerdy things that we have to put together in order to create content. I'm looking at you guys. You guys got the roadcasters. You guys got multiple screens, gaming chairs.
No, not
Oh,
again.
not again.
Hopefully it's
Not
just him, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. StreamYards is
Yeah, I'm sorry to the audience right now. Technical difficulties. You know, we've been crushing it though. We only had like a little bit left, anyways.
Yeah.
We are still gonna try to ride it out. He's
there
back.
he is.
I almost had two accounts there for a second. I was going to be a double teaming.
Cloned up.
Sweet.
Yeah, sorry guys for the technical difficulties, but I could sort of, I guess, leave where we left off. So if you want to go to search, go down, and so search for egg. Go to egg, click on egg.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's on the left middle.
Oh,
Up
got
a
it. Got it.
There
Egg.
you go.
Okay.
Chris, you got to unmute yourself too on Twitter so people can hear you.
I'm back, baby. All right. Yeah. So I'm on the egg right now.
So you could click a bunch of them. They're all unique tokens.
Ooh, golden or Ethereum. Ooh.
Yeah. So these
I
are.
love the little baby right there.
yeah. The baby's dope. That was one of a really popular token that came out. So each one of these eggs is going to reveal into a one of one that was designed by the holder and their artist of their choosing. So for instance, like that black egg right there is held by one of our community members, Jordan. He designed a character with our artist, Ricky Velez, and it's all finished. So literally, like, the concept is, you know, somebody comes in, we put them in a group chat with the artist. They start throwing in all of their ideas, like lore, concept, you know, maybe reference pieces of art, etc. And then they get to create a one of one with the artist that then gets minted into the collection forever, encapsulating their involvement with Shellz Orb. And this character can get used in all sorts of stuff, from, you know, comic books to the TV show, etc. Essentially creating an experience for somebody who's in NFTs that's way more connected than, you know, just buying an image or a static image that's, you know, some sort of an access token that has utility, right? Jordan, and keep the story of Jordan is very cool. And I told it this morning on Bark's show. He minted this token. He got an offer for like 4.5 ETH, right? We're talking ETH almost at 2,000. That's like $8,000, $10,000 off of a $150 mint. Like, dude, anybody in the world would have like taken that, right? But he was like, shit, no, I want to do this. I fucking want, you know, I want my piece on this collection. I want to create that character. And, you know, once the egg claim happened on October 31st, he started making his character, and it's finished now. I think he's been already sharing it over Twitter, and pretty soon I'm going to mint it into the collection. You could probably find it. Yeah. If you search Jordan, what's Jordan's screen name? Oh yeah. Jordan's there right now. He's in the audience. He's listening. I didn't even see you.
Oh yeah. OG Jordan in Twitter.
OG Jordan. Yeah. Jordan, tag your 101 in the chat. So that everybody could see it.
That's like what makes me bullish on like combining art lore and a story to like a project. Is like a lot of those like kind of NFT projects, like you mentioned before, that maybe went out of business or kind of waved the flag of kind of defeat there last year. A lot of them didn't really do that. Like it was actually shocking. They just, like you said, it was maybe based on some utility or some just random stuff, or maybe it was built on just complete hype. But looking at yours, I love that like all the different elements combined into one, and it goes to show, like, somebody was offering 2, 3, 4 ETH for some of those eggs. I think that kind of speaks volumes.
I accidentally pinned the wrong Shellz orb to the Twitter space. So let me find it right now.
But that one is cool. That one's sick.
Yeah, it was a really cool one, so it's fine. I'm gonna try to show YouTube as well.
But I do have to jump though, guys. I appreciate Chris for having me on. Jameson, it was nice to meet you. Love the project and very interested to see how this all plays out. And I'm looking forward to catching this egg that we're about to. Oh, there it is. Is that it? Is that it?
No, that's not it. Scroll down. I'm sure he posted it recently. That's not it.
Ooh, that's cool though.
But yeah,
a lot of these are really cool.
Thanks, fellas. It was again nice to meet you. And Chris, thanks for having me on. And
yeah, Kyle.
See you guys next time.
See you, man. Peace out.
Thanks, Kyle.
And JMO, we can I want to find this egg, and then I want to talk about the launch a little bit. We'll wrap up too. I don't know. He posts so much Shellz orbs, so you just see.
If you look at his media, it's the first media image.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, there you go,
dude. What? That's wild. What the heck?
Yeah. It's like this double-headed ram kind of scenario with a snake coming out of its tail, and it's crushing a Shellz. So it's like a Shellz destroyer kind of character. It's super creative, and we get to watch all of the stages of that production go down, from line art to concept, adding color, then adding the like the finishing touches and stuff. The team has a really interesting process of doing art, and it's really cool to see it happen all along the way. I'm really stoked that Jordan, got the opportunity to do this, and that this piece gets to live on side of the collection forever.
That's amazing. I do see Jordan trying to request on Twitter Spaces. Unfortunately, right now we wouldn't be able to hear you with our current setup. We're going to fix that for next time. But I'm sorry, Jordan.
Jordan.
We are concluding anyways. Let's talk about, before we conclude, is there any chance that like viewers right now are able to get a whitelist opportunity for this next mint, or has the whitelist already been allocated? I know it's only like 4 days out or 5 days out.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of ways to get whitelist. There's 2 pre-mint raffles that we're running. Actually, I don't have it in there. If you went to the Twitter, it's the first link on Twitter. So it's in the bio.
Okay, so like where it says pre-mint right here. So you can go to Shellz Orb at Shellz Orb on Twitter if you are interested in this. Click pre-mint and then register. You just got to follow those, like a retweet for a chance to mint.
And if you go, so there's two ways to enter. One is sort of the general public raffle, and then there's also a raffle for holders. And the holders raffle is actually interesting because we recently launched a sub collection called Items. And so every Shellz equals 1 entry into the raffle. And so you can actually, enter the raffle for pretty cheap. I think Items are only $10 right now.
Okay.
To get yourself an entry into the holders raffle, or you could buy, one off of the floor and get into the holders raffle as well. So those are the 2 main ways. Probably the best way though is to come hang out in the Discord, join us in VC. And if you're a cool person, like, and you just like, you're stoked, and yeah, we do give away quite a few whitelists inside of the Discord VC.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing your project, your background, everything with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we conclude this episode?
Put you on
the spot.
This was a conversation about building in the bear market and creating something meaningful in a time that's, not easily rewarding all people. And I just want to say this. Listen, we're in a space that has a lot of beautiful people to interact with. Go out, build some friends, and keep building. Build something cool, and don't stop. Don't stop. This is just the beginning. This is podcasting 2009. Web3 has so much more to go, right? The economic status of everything that's going on. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see a billion X returns, anytime soon. Who knows? But if you build something cool and you believe in it, there's going to be people that find you, that you're able to attract, that believe in it too. So don't stop. Just keep going.
Yeah, I love that, man. I absolutely love that. I found that myself over the last year, and right now I'm just kind of enjoying like being in the space. Like making new friends. I'm looking into SXSW. That's like an event happening in Austin in March.
Oh, South by Southwest. I'll be there.
Yeah, you will be there. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. I love South by. I started going there in like 2015. It's one of my favorite conferences. My sister also lives there, and she has 2 little boys, so I use it as a very good experience to go be a good uncle.
Nice. Yeah, I'll probably make the trip. I'm kind of talking about it right now, so it'd be cool. We can get some Shellz together. Do something maybe while we're there.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I'd love to. I'd love for that to happen. Definitely going to be a bunch of cool stuff going on there. And the Web3 community, especially from last year, I went it's popping. Like it's definitely.
Were you in Miami? Were you at Art Basel in Miami?
Yeah, I was at Art Basel as well.
You were at the NFT Now party, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was supposed to be. I got really sick. That was the day I flew in. I got really sick and I missed it. I was at NFT Now. I got some really cool merch, but I was sick like the whole time. So it kind of ruined most of the experience for me. But I'll probably be at the next one and future ones. So I'm looking forward. I still had fun despite being sick. But yeah, if you're watching this and you haven't been to an IRL event, definitely worth it just to meet a bunch of like-minded people that are excited and having fun and not sad all the time, like because their bags are down. Like it kind of gives more meaning to just being here.
100%. And another thing that I used extensively in building this project was going to these IRL events, using my mustache, getting to know people, letting your potential community members know that you're a real human being is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And that's probably the biggest tip that I have is, people can support you if they feel that you're a human being, right? Yeah. Because we're all human beings, and like connecting on that level with people, you'll be exposed to ideas, to concepts, to strategies by these other founders. And the people that go to these things are the builders, right? They're the people that are going to support you. They're the people that are going to have communities that they can activate into your brand new community and all the none. So I don't know. You mentioned you were going to South by Southwest. I'll be at ETH Denver, NFT NYC, probably Sweet. ETH Paris, and likely VCon and NFT New York. So I don't think we'll be doing a crazy event or anything like that for all of them, but I am right after this mint. I will be going headstrong into planning an event for NFT LA.
Yeah, bro. Just and maybe also we could just kind of get some like turtle or some like Shellz type shot glasses and just take a shot together.
Oh, dude, I would love that. I would absolutely 100% love that.
Sweet, man. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're a busy person. You got like a freaking tour right now before this of Twitter Spaces before the whitelist mint. So thanks for booking a spot here on the show.
No, Chris, thank you for having me. This is this conversation's been great, and I bet you I am gonna send this podcast over to a ton of people. Yeah, it was a really great conversation.
Heck yeah, man. Thank you. We covered a lot. If you guys are watching, be sure to follow JMO on Twitter, keep up with Shellz or Project. Obviously, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Like this video for the YouTube algorithms. It pushes it out there. And we will see all of you guys next time. Peace out.
Cheers, guys.